My name is Austin. I'm a mostly normal guy who is also mostly a morning person. So what would happen if I totally wrecked my schedule and tried to become a night owl instead? I'm going to test this for the next week. Either I'll destroy my mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity.
I feel like I got hit by a freight train.
Or maybe I'll discover some unexpected benefits.
I have never felt like this before in my entire life. This is so amazing.
Welcome to my new schedule for the next week. I really hope I don't regret this.
My first day started like any other. I drank some fiber, planned my day, and told the world about my new life choices. I'm becoming a night owl! But just as I was starting work, I got distracted by something.
Hey there, so it's day one. Just, want to step in and remind you that today's probably gonna be kind of rotten because your body's kind of used to getting up at 6 a.m. Yeah, so that's actually not true at all, which is really surprising because physically, I feel fine. I feel great, actually. I have a very slight headache right between my eyes, but other than that, I feel like I actually woke up faster than normal. It's been 30 minutes and I'm ready to go. I feel great. But what I'm really curious to see is how my energy is the rest of the day, because waking up faster than normal is nothing to write home about. All right, so it is now 2 o'clock. What's so weird is I have no physical tiredness in my body. Even for the first day, I figured stuff would be mostly the same, but it's not. The other thing I'm kind of working on today is a way of tracking my mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity. What's the purpose of doing all this if it's not actually affecting my day-to-day life, right? So we have mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity in these different colors. And then we have capacity 0 to 100. And then the time scales here from 6 a.m., 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. And in case you're wondering, a normal day for me would begin around 6 a.m. and end around 9 p.m. Mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity all kind of look basically the same. I would usually begin at 6 a.m., ramp up from about 10 to 12, maybe to 1, then would dip down between 2 and 4, and then from 6 p.m., 7 p.m., it would basically taper off pretty rapidly. So that's how a normal day would look. I'm really curious to see what this will look like tracking this. Alrighty, so I tracked my mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity for today, but it's day one, right? This isn't gonna be relevant until day 6 or 7 when my internal clock isn't going ballistic. So I'll keep tracking it and I'll kind of compile it and show you guys at the end, because I have a feeling there's some weird patterns that are gonna show up. So it's my second night. First night I went to bed at 1. So the thing I'm noticing and I'm kind of running into is it feels like I lose my concept of time after about 8 o'clock, because time is very nebulous and it kind of feels like I'm in charge of it. It's like, what's another 30 minutes? That's becoming problematic because it's becoming increasingly difficult to not waste time. It is now exactly midnight. I was actually wildly productive. This is the rough draft of the next video I'm making. I still don't quite feel like my mind is as sharp as it should be when it comes to creative work. So we'll see where the next couple days take us. Days 1, 2, and 3 mostly ended up being in the transition period, with days 4 to 7 starting to show some more concrete results. But for the first 3 days, life went pretty normal, despite being extremely tired in the evenings. But even this early on, I started to notice some very strange things. Like, instead of having a crash after lunch, I had it after supper, and then I would weirdly catch my second wind at around 9:30 to 10. Also, just like day 1, getting out of bed was easy, and I was often up and fully alert in about half the time that it would normally take. It is just such a weird feeling waking up like this. I honestly don't even know how to describe it. For the last I don't even know how long. When I wake up, I can feel that I have an hour of sleep left in me. And I just want to sleep, but I force myself to get up. And now I'm waking up and it's not there at all. It's so weird. I don't even know how to describe it. But each day I faithfully tracked my progress until the nightmare situation for any night owl inevitably happened.
Due to a meeting, I was yanked from sleep for what most people would call normal, but for me was now quite early.
Today's gonna be a fun day. I can't believe people like go to bed and wake up at this time normally with like 5 hours of sleep. It's 11:30 and I am feeling it. Whew, I mean, what did I expect? I barely got any sleep. So I think I'm gonna take a quick little nap.
This day did indeed go terribly, and if I decide to keep being a night owl, I think that this would get very annoying if it kept happening. I've noticed that society seems to believe that waking up early is required for discipline and productivity, which I'm learning just isn't true. We'll start looking at some of the really weird patterns that are starting to emerge. I'm noticing that I wake up way faster, and when I wake up, there's no sleep left in me. Physically, I feel very energized every day, which I think actually affects my mood a lot. Like, I would say I've been happier. I don't know, moving with that energy makes a big difference. Also, I haven't been snacking, which is weird. So far, the downsides are that it feels like my physical batteries have been recharged up to about like 100% or 95%. But my mental batteries have been recharged to like 80%. Also, late in the evenings, I find that I have way less willpower, which makes it a lot harder to keep myself from wasting time, or it's harder to do very difficult tasks. I will say, tracking my mental clarity, physical energy, and productivity, I'm starting to notice some really interesting shifts as that routine becomes more and more concrete. And I'm really curious to see how the next 4 days go.
Have you ever slept through your alarm and woke up about 3 minutes before you had to leave for the airport or work? That feeling when you jerk awake? Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt all day. The longer I go, the more I feel like this mental pressure in my head of I need sleep, but I can't get it because my body has slept all it can. Normally I feel fine, but when I hit a low patch, like now, it's like I'm trying to walk through wet concrete.
It kind of just feels like the highs and lows are just getting exaggerated. And so when I feel great, I feel great. I'll be honest, the last day or two, I've been happier than I have been in a long time. Just normal things in life, just making me laugh. And when I'm in those peaks, my creativity and stuff is just through the roof. But then in no time, I can swing back the other direction. And it's not just an afternoon slump. It's I fell into the Grand Canyon. Last night at 11, I was driving when one of these hit. That was the first time in years that I legitimately did not feel safe. I was actually not sure if I could stay awake. And I did go to bed later than normal last night, extra late. So maybe that's some of it. But here, I'll set up my camera and show you the charts from day 1 to day 5. And you can see the difference pretty well. It gets more and more exaggerated. But hey, there's only 2 more days. I mean, what else could possibly happen in 2 days?
So this is day 1, and it's typical. Rise in the afternoon, drop down around 7, and then it just kind of slowly peters out with some rises and falls here. Now let me show you today. Look at how much more dramatic this is. We have mental clarity that just starts lower, stays lower, gets this massive spike, then this huge drop around 7. Then it kind of goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and then another huge drop, and then just plateaus off very late. Physical energy, it starts higher and immediately just skyrockets. Honestly, I had incredible energy all the way up till 7, dropped about 50%, shot back up again, plummeted, shot back up, plummeted again. Productivity is kind of a mixture of the two. Basically, everything between day 1 and day 5, the charts look the same, they just get more and more dramatic.
Days 6 and 7 went basically the same, but the ups and downs stabilized just a little. And despite being the last 2 days, this experiment had one more surprise in store for me.
Yesterday and today, both, from 4 to 7, I just had this incredible burst of energy. It felt like I was super caffeinated. My fingers and everything, I was almost jittery. It was so bizarre. The thing is, I didn't even have coffee. I woke up this morning, I was I don't even really want coffee. I'm awake, I'm alert, I don't need it. And so I didn't even drink coffee. It was so weird because it was all physical, but mentally I felt like I needed to sleep.
when I reviewed everything, I found that my mental clarity seemed to drop by about 5% each day, and it kind of leveled off around 20 to 25%, I would say, that I felt a decrease in. Kind of a headache, and just the mental quickness wasn't quite there. By contrast, my physical energy, I would say I had like a 20% increase in just day-to-day energy. Productivity was really interesting. I feel like it improved over this week, but more as a consequence than anything. Because when you're working late into the night, you don't have people distracting you, no one's calling you, there's no events planned, there's not really much to distract you, which is actually really nice, and it's something that I never really thought about, is when you're up late, you're kind of off limits. All in all, this experiment didn't disappoint. The physical energy and the good mood was just so much fun. The one thing I won't miss is the slight constant headache and the continual buildup of brain fog. I think if my job didn't require so much mental work, the schedule would actually be a lot of fun. It kind of makes me wonder though, if I did the opposite of this experiment, maybe I would have terrible physical energy, but maybe I would have lots of mental clarity. There's only one way to find out.